Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your host, Kaz Kwiatkowski.
Well, we're running solo today as my cohort is under the weather a little bit. I'm not too far ahead of him, so we're going to try to make this go today, but if I don't feel real good, I may cut it short. So we have one caller already. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kaz.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see the Friday paper?
The what?
The Friday newspaper?
No, I don't really get the newspaper. I get it a few days late. I catch it around, but what was in there?
Yeah, it says city awarded gaming grant for streetscapes upgrade, $250,000 grant from the casino will be matched by the city. That's $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And the mayor says here that with this money, he is going to have a world-class downtown from 3rd Street all the way up to 12th Street. And what he's going to do, he's going to plant trees and fix the curb to the sidewalk. Now, with that much money, planting trees and fixing the sidewalk, how are you going to have a world-class city?
Well, first of all, he hasn't relayed any of those plans to council yet. And to my knowledge, we haven't accepted the grant yet. So, I mean, there's plenty of time to question what's going to be done. This is probably part of the large-scale plan that existed a few years back where, if you remember, they shut down 12th Street.
Yeah.
And they started putting the bump outs in.
Right.
Well, they never finished that whole plan. So this will be, the 500,000 if that's what it's going to take, if we have to match it.
Yeah, he said he announced that Thursday at his news conference.
Yeah, he always does that, but he never talks to council ahead of time. That bothers me a lot.
But the part where it got me, he says his vision is have a world-class downtown by planting trees and fixing the sidewalk.
Well, we've had trees before. The problem is we've always planted the wrong trees, or, when you have traffic, you have to make sure you have the right kind of trees planted.
Right.
Because otherwise, I remember when they planted trees on Peach Street in the past, and they had planters on State Street. You remember that?
Right.
Oh, all we're doing is going around the same way again, but, I hope it works, but,
Yeah, they always talk about fixing between 3rd and 12th. What about from 12th to 14?
Well, that's important, but here's what bothers me. Here's the most important thing. When I start seeing things happening on the east side of town, north of, let's say, 24th Street, and when I see things starting to happen on the west side of town, north of like roughly 18th Street, 16th Street, when I see those neighborhoods start to be renovated, and not as those are starting points, those are just rough approximations. When I start seeing some effort put into those areas, then I'll know the turnaround exists. And because until we start getting people moving back in the city, the downtown is great for people to visit, and the downtown's going to take care of itself, but long range, we have to start looking at rebuilding the neighborhoods.
Yeah, over the weekend, I was talking to some of the merchants from 12th to 14th Street.
Yeah.
And they're losing business because of the main losing business is because the poor lighting with the new poles.
Well, that's the trouble.
Nobody wants to walk to the bars or the restaurants.
Well, the downtown improvement district and all that, in the old days, and all the committees, they decided they wanted this new type of lighting. I'm not sold on it, but previous councils passed it, and I think we need to readdress it. We even got people today that want to, limit the amount of lighting, ambient lighting, but in a city, when you got people that do business, you got businesses, You got the potential for things to happen, not good things. You need lighting.
Right.
I mean, you go to any city in America, and the downtown is well lit, the business areas are well lit. What do they tell you to do at your house? Keep your light on, right?
Right.
And no, I agree with you. I think, you know, one of the things I was listening the other day on TV, they were talking about the like the PACA building, you know, that building just one block outside of the district.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we can't change those rules. Here's a gentleman who's I think it's Mark Tannenbaum, who's put a lot of money in that building. And if we can help him, we should, you know.
Right.
Just like, you know, juniors and all that anchors what they call the southern end of that district. But, you know, you're right. There are districts past 12th Street. There are districts past 14th and 15th that need to be, you know, there are cases where we should help them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one more thing.
Yeah.
The last 3, 4, 5 years, you know, just everybody is talking about code enforcement.
Right.
And inspections of, you know, landlords' houses and, you know, tall grass and everything like this. Now, who inspects the city? I got one thing that...
that's you mean when the law breaks the law, there is no law, that one? Yeah, what area are you talking about?
What I'm talking about, the 3 underpasses.
Yeah.
8th Street, Peach Street, and Sass. Anytime that you ride under those, you see all those, everything is all rust. All those columns are rust.
Yeah.
Just,
some time ago, they, I can't remember, it was I think between the private sector, it was around the time of that Centennial or something. They tried to, you know, paint those all up and clean them. But yeah, you're right, it's an ongoing issue. And I think, give me those, where was it again?
State Street.
Right.
Sassafras.
Okay.
And Peach.
You're talking about the big underpasses, like roughly about 19th Street?
Yeah, 14th Street.
14th Street, there you go.
Yeah, if you look, it's just, you know, people's afraid to walk underneath those.
Well, the lighting has been an issue, and some of that was they used to get shot out, but there was a councilman, David Brennan.
Oh, yeah, that was a good plan he had with...
Well, I don't think it's dead. I think we need to talk to him, and you know, there's a couple council people with me, I think, that could, you know, bring it to life. It's something that has to be looked at because they should be not only well lit, but yeah, painted, you know.
Yeah.
You ever been to Chicago?
No.
They got like a lower section and an upper section. Sometimes the lower section looks a little seedy, but sometimes where they've cleaned it, it looks pretty nice, and that's what we got to do. Yeah, they should be well lit, you know, cleaned up.
Yeah, it's just like when anybody comes into town, or, you know, it's just those underpasses are just disgusting.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to walk through some of them at night, I tell you the truth.
Everything's all rusted and falling down and cracks and everything, and who's responsible for fixing that?
Well, obviously that's Public Works, and I'll bring it up to them, and I'll do it at a council meeting so it goes out publicly.
You know, here they want to spend $500,000 to plant some trees, but the underpass, they don't want to do anything with them.
That's why the underpasses should be decorated also. I mean, Councilman Brennan, he had an idea about like theme lighting, you know, maybe a little bit of red during Christmas and stuff, and a little bit of...
Look really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, something that when you go through it, you know, you get a little excited, you know.
And then they got all that graffiti underneath there, and
yeah, that's another problem. We don't have the graffiti task force anymore like we used to.
Yeah. Okay, Kaz, that's all I got, and I just, you know, the main concern was those underpasses.
I'll bring it up, and I'll bring it up publicly. Watch the next council meeting.
Yeah.
I just think it's something, yeah, we need to police. Sometimes we're our own worst enemies.
That's what I said, you know, the code enforcement, like everybody talks about code enforcement, you know, parking and all this other stuff, and high grass and drains and noise, but nobody nobody inspects the city.
No, it's...
Yep. Okay, Cass, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yep, you have anything else, call back later.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep, he's absolutely right. The underpasses are kind of a joke. Go ahead, caller.
You're looking good.
I'm not feeling good, but I'm glad you called.
Hey, that gentleman talking about the bridges, he left out a couple.
Which ones?
Like Liberty and Ash.
Oh, yeah. There's so many, John.
I know it. And you know the whole thing, it's dim, they're dark, they're not taken care of. I thought that was belonged to the railroads.
Well, you know, that's a crazy subject. I think the underpasses are ours. I'll have to look into that legally, because it sounds to me like the railroads had the right of way, and then we got permission to tunnel under them at certain key ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know, when I was downtown the other morning there, and that ambient lighting, in plain English, it just sucks.
Well, yeah, it's like, we joke, I tell people it's like when I was in the military, and we had those angle head flashlights.
Yeah.
And you walk through the woods, and you didn't want the enemy to see you, so you had, you know, blackout lights and...
Yeah, you had a filter over the top of it.
Right, and that's what it's like, you know, in front of you, you can see, you know, but if you're a police officer, you're, how about just a regular civilian driving down the street, if something happened, you probably can't see it.
That's true, and all the cameras in the world aren't going to do any good.
Not if the light ain't good, you know, I mean, you can kick them up a little bit maybe, but there's nothing like light. Now, you know, I know we got an issue coming up shortly on council about lighting.
LED lights?
Yeah, everything, the whole thing about, you know.
They're not going to cut it.
John, you're from New York City, right? I mean, you've been in New York City, right?
Yeah, I've been to Chester and all those places. And
I mean, they got bright lights in big cities, you know.
Sure, they want to see what's going on.
Not only that, I mean, people don't feel safe. I mean, what do they tell you at your house? Put your lights on it, right?
Well, yeah, but I got a vicious dog.
Well, yeah, I seen your dog. But you know what I'm talking about, John, right?
Oh, yes.
What is the first thing they tell you? You know, light.
Your light on. But, you know, a lot of times leaving the light on is just come on, too.
Right, but, I mean, but there's a reason why, you know.
You mean you should put them on a timer.
Right, but people don't like, I mean, if you got one of those motion detectors, people don't like that. You know, if you're trying to sneak up on my car and I got a motion light, you're probably not going to like that, you know.
Well, ADT's putting all kinds of stuff now. Cameras in it, doorbells and whatever, but what happened to the old days when you could leave your house open?
Yeah, we know what happened there. That's gone.
Neighbor would watch it.
That's gone now.
Yeah, so, you know, hey, this $250,000 the Gaming Commission gave, and the mayor says he's going to match.
Yeah.
I mean, what about all these other projects we had? We had the Kohler project, the Juice project, we had the Boston store, the Mercantile, the business on Parade Street. We had all kinds of help.
Well, we got so many plans. I think the plan he's talking about is the...
Streetscape and all
Yeah,
that.
that's the one they never quite finished, I believe.
Before, and the gentleman who owned the big department store on Parade Street found it was cheaper to get his own people to do it than what the contractors for the city were charging these people. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
You mean Krause?
9th Street, yeah. He found out it was cheaper to have his own fascia put in, his own sidewalks and everything else than the city contractors that were approved to do these jobs. And I don't know if he is going to have the same kind of expectation with the Gaming Commission money if there's a requirement that he has to get an approved contractor to do all this.
You know, the thing that scares me, you know, when you look at the comprehensive plan that Buki did,
Yeah, he laid it out pretty good, and he was darn near on spot.
But he said the neighborhoods have to come first. Now, there's a lot of impetus downtown. There's enough people between Gannon, Erie Insurance, Marquette, all of them. They're all pushing that. And it's nice that we start. We're still working on downtown, but we have to start like the sisters who are now on the east side.
Yeah, you have to think about the people who are footing the bill.
Yeah, we have to start rebuilding the neighborhoods. I mean, we haven't even touched yet about, as I drive north of where I go to church, nothing's changed.
True.
We walk through there, we talk to them, we're going to count them, but we haven't done a thing yet. And then, until we start finding a way to, it's even like our neighborhood, John. Ours is starting to, I drove down the street the other day.
Drive down my street.
Oh, and 38th Street, a main artery, and there were front yards that looked like the Burma Road. They had huge tire marks in the front lawns, and that's what we've done.
You don't have code enforcement. You don't have plow drivers that know the area.
Well, we've allowed people to park on their driveways. I mean, on their what do you call it? Their yards.
Front yards, yeah.
Half of them, I don't even know if they're legal, and because we need to do an inventory someday and see if they really have the right to do it. If I'm coming,
I see that Mercyhurst Bar opened up last Friday.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. Just before St. Patrick's Day, John Melody had him open on Friday there. And what part of it's going to be taxable?
Well, I had a call up to the solicitor. I'm going to give him a call after this. What did they announce it on TV?
Yeah. I think he was on, and he said that it was going to be operational Friday at noon. Friday at noon.
I was told by...
For St. Patrick's Day.
I was told by the solicitor and code that they weren't close yet. So I guess I was lied to.
Yeah, so, but
what else is surprising, right?
Real quick here.
I'm going to go right upstairs after this meeting and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I want that taxed. I think at the very least, if we challenge them and see if we can,
True, see, Verizon had a piece in the paper, or no, one of the writers for the Times, where that cable was cut in January.
Oh, you mean the one on Pine Avenue?
Yeah.
I go by there all the time. They're still working on it.
Yeah, the water department asked for us because they were going to do some repairs up there.
Yeah.
Well, the cable came in and gave them a spot, but the water department then went right in and cut the cable anyways. It was on top of the area where they were going to be working, and they cut all the spaghetti. Now, who's it, Whitanic?
Yeah.
Out of the
Wojtek
department. He said that they had the spot, but the telephone company put the lines right on top where they showed they were sure they should dig. Now, what gets me is neither the telephone company or the water department, the authority, let anybody in the media know what was happening. One woman was out she's still out. And that happened in January.
How long should it, John, you were in utilities, how long should it take?
Well, if you have your own people doing it, they go round the clock on it and do it.
Yeah.
And the telephone company, Verizon, hired contractors to come in and do it.
Geez, how long's it been out?
Well,
you called me a month ago, didn't you?
And it happened in January.
Well,
I was out for over 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's way past a month when you called me. I go by there every day, and they still got the...
Yeah, they have their crew up there still. There's about 1 million wires.
Is that the one where they got the, right near Norcross there?
Yeah.
It's got the flagman...
Yeah, right across from that Dollar General.
Yeah, I go by there every day, and I said, hi, they got like a little canopy there. The guy's been...
They're just for the weather working, and...
I'm going, you know, a project that important, you think they'd have it done by now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's the companies. A lot of people are calling the PUC, but the article says you should contact Verizon or whatever before you contact the PUC. Have you ever tried to contact Verizon?
All those utilities are like a wasted effort.
But I made a call and put a complaint into the PUC. It's just like Penelec. When something happens for them, they used to be right on top of it. Now they'll tie a pole and band a pole to another pole for who knows, weeks and weeks.
That woman, you think somebody on the media would cover that story?
Well, they got it out yesterday in the paper, but you know, she was due to get some kind of surgery, and her husband has some kind of business with a cell phone, and he was due for some kind of surgery, and they had to put it off and tell her doctors to call him on his business cell phone, and it's a complete travesty. I don't know where this is going. I guess the mayor's in California still?
I didn't know he was there.
I thought somebody mentioned he went to California to see how they're doing their operations or some things. I don't know. I think the mayor should stay in his own city and take care of his own problems and let his people that are working for him, let him know what's going on.
He doesn't tell us where he goes or anything, you know.
It's time to tighten up on the purse.
Yeah, man, that's what, budget time's coming up again.
And you know, you got Lichtenwalder as another yes man for him.
I'm disappointed in, you know, the lack of, I said it since
cooperation?
Well, transparency. It just...
True.
I shouldn't have to read about it in the newspaper or at the press conference or on Facebook or whatever you call that thing.
Well, there's a piece in there he's going to be having a greeter down there.
Yeah, I heard that, and that hasn't been brought up to council.
I know. I mean, who's going to cover his insurance in case he gets hurt?
Well, there's a good question. I would assume that
the city.
Yeah, he'd be under our. Well, we're self-insured, so he'd be under that.
Yeah, you know, Walmart has greeters too, you know, but they're getting paid. But maybe he'll be getting paid too. You don't know where, so.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, we'll get out of here and let somebody else come in, but who knows? Have a good one.
Hang on, John.
Okay.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the school district when we used to have meetings. What they would do was before you had a meeting, the PTA, unless the meeting was authorized by the principal, you would have to get your own insurance.
Well, there you go.
And so what they used to do was they didn't have janitors in the grade schools all night, but they had them in the high school. So what they would do is they wanted you to switch the meetings like to, I think some of the junior highs even had them, like go to Wilson or something, but most people didn't like that idea, but the PTAs couldn't afford the insurance either, you know.
Well, yeah, because the school was shut down, and well, they had boilers, and they had boiler tenders in most of the schools that night.
So, you know, but unless the principal wanted to call it an official meeting, like an open house, and then he had to get it cleared by the district, you know, if you had a meeting and somebody walked in the school and tripped, that was on the PTA for a while.
Yeah.
Or the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts or whoever met there, you know.
True. So I'm going to sit down and get pen in hand and give it some of those wonderful projects that were successful and cost the city a lot of money and all the good stuff. Lisa down at the paper, she's getting to know me pretty well.
You're like a cult hero.
Yeah. So, we'll let somebody else come in.
Yeah, if they don't come in, give it a call back. Otherwise, I might be leaving early. I don't know yet.
Moan about Trump pretty soon, so.
What's that?
I see your buddy Doc will be calling in to moan about Trump pretty soon, so we'll get off the air.
We'll see if he does call. You never know.
Okay.
See you, John. There we go. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Kaz.
Hey, how you been?
Pretty good. How about you? Well, I hope you get better.
Well, I'm on the downside. I'm pretty good, but it just, yeah, this has been a bad couple months.
That's good. Well, did you know that Laker Inn is right next to the new bar at Mercyhurst University?
What's that?
When they told on the news about the new bar at Mercyhurst University, they said it's right next to the Laker Inn on the same floor. Union. Isn't the Laker Inn taxable?
I don't know what the Laker Inn is. The old Laker Inn was a...
on East 38th?
Yeah, but if it's a cafeteria with a fancy name, we can't charge it. I mean, if the way it works is, and this will be tricky, is if they open it to the public.
Yeah, this is open to the bar. The bar is open to the public.
Hey, they said that?
That's what they said on the news announcement.
That would surprise me, but if it was, then it's going to be taxable. But if a lot of places, a lot of colleges have what they have a fancy name, like at Slippery Rock, they called it Rocky's Place or something.
Oh, you mean just the plain school cafeteria?
Well, it was a glorified cafeteria. It had...
but it was only for the students.
Yeah, it would be like, it wasn't a cafeteria, but it was more like at night when they served sandwiches and stuff, they had music and stuff.
Oh.
But it was strictly for the kids, you know.
And the employees.
Yeah, so I mean, that doesn't rise to, tax exempt. I mean, to challenge them. It's only when you open up. I mean, here they're dealing with a liquor license,
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I had the solicitor look at it. I'm going to have to go upstairs and have him look at it again. I wasn't aware they opened. They told me they weren't even close to opening.
Oh, yeah, it was announced on the news that it's going to be open to the public.
One guy said it, one gentleman said it's open already.
Yeah, probably would be if they announced it on the news. Because they had a grand opening, the president talked on the news.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on it, but yeah, I'm not too thrilled when colleges and nonprofits start to enter the private sector.
Oh. On another subject, if my next door neighbor put a large item in front of my house, who would I call in the city, at City Hall, to tell them not to give me a ticket because I didn't put the object?
You call Public Works or that number. I don't have it. Oh, I should have it.
Oh, you mean Moz?
Yeah, Moss Salem. Tell them what happened.
Oh.
And, either that and then call Public Works too.
Oh.
And, cause somebody's doing that to you?
Not yet, but they've put objects in front of my house previous years, but this year, since I could get a ticket, I would need to call to avoid getting ticketed.
Yeah, I used to have a neighbor that did that. You'll see people taking garbage, to different parts of town.
Oh.
I even know one guy that brings it in from out of state.
Wow, that's bad. And is the next city council meeting on Wednesday evening?
No, I think let me see, that's a daytime, I think.
It's the second meeting of the month.
Well, I've been out of it. My head's been spinning like let's see.
It would be the...
No, you're right, it's a night meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
This Wednesday, so the agenda should be out there by now.
Oh. Okay.
See what happens when you have cement head? You can't even think straight.
Well, get well soon, I hope.
Well, I'm feeling like I said, it's like everybody else has had them lately too.
Okay, take care. Thank you, Kaz.
You too, and keep me informed.
Okay, I will. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, a lot of people concerned about that bar up there. I just find it appalling that universities now get into the private sector. Go ahead, caller.
Hey there, Cass. Listening to you and all the questions rising up, I'll help you understand a few of those things. If you remember, we had those trees, like you remembered, in the sidewalks downtown, but we ended up pulling most of them out of there because they became a hazard rather than a helpful thing for the city. Those squares that they would leave open for the trees to grow in became an area where people would step in and twist their ankles and that.
And then they would lift up from the root structure.
Right. Well, they'd also used to have bricks down along the State Street side. One and say bricks would come up and people would use the bricks and throw them at cars, windows, and all.
Well, you know, if you go to like Chicago or New York and those places, they put planters out there.
Well, the Parking Authority did one thing a little different. If you notice on French Street side, where they had their trees, I don't know if they're still there, but they use these big iron grids that has a circular hole in the center for the tree to grow up through.
Yeah, I remember that.
You couldn't pick them up to get in there and step in there and hurt your ankle.
But the problem always is too that do you remember we pulled out a lot of trees in the parking lots years ago?
Oh yeah.
Because the emissions just killed them. You know, people had their car running, those trees.
Well, we were told to put trees in there for the environmental impacts.
Yeah, but then they turned around and people either slammed them with the cars or just the emissions killed them, and some of them just died. And the arborist said, you know, you got to pull them out. And
well, you got the branches that come down, you got the leaves that fall down, and then you got them clogging up the drains and stuff too. So they weren't always a blessing. They looked nice, but they had...
No, in fact, the arborist told me that if they plant trees again, she would make recommendations on which kind of trees to plant, you know.
Don't plant any evergreens because they're excellent homes for mosquitoes. So.
But yeah, you know, here we are. This is nothing new. We've been, you and I have seen the planters go up on State Street, those big blocks.
Right.
They disappeared.
And if you remember those two, when what we would end up sometime is help to decorate them up by putting mulch in them, and then find out that the mulch is ignitable by somebody throwing a cigarette in there and it catch fire. So that was another drawback.
I remember years ago we had geraniums in all the parking ramps.
Mm-hmm. I remember those.
We had to pull them up and, you know, hang them and all that. And
the other thing with the underpasses for the railroad tracks there, I think the city can do something underneath, but not unless they get the okay from this railroad above. In other words, it's kind of a one hand helping the other hand, or letting the other hand know what they're going to be doing. Yeah, they do need to be decorated up, cleaned up, new lighting. I thought that one on Peach Street, if I remember correct, they went in and they allowed the kids to do their graffiti type stuff on there to decorate it down there that one time.
yeah, and they lit it, and you know, it looked nice.
Yeah, it did. It did make it look better than it wasn't so dreary.
And like I said, Councilman Brennan, he had a long range plan about how to dress them up a little bit.
Right.
And he still has that about unique lighting, like lighting that changes colors, like from blue to green. Let's say, you know, you still have your basic, you know, lighting, but you put mood lighting in there too and stuff.
Oh, that's just it. Somebody that understands lighting's got to get in there and give you a better source of a light that will be also economical and can't be put out by stones or rocks or something like that. Remember how kids used to do that?
Yeah,
I'm not saying the kids do that today, but still, we went through that by experiencing those things.
Yeah, we used to get lights knocked out in the ramps all the time. You know, remember that? We had changed bulb after bulb. And
yep.
One thing I like when I go out of town, I see like they have bridges lit with nice colored lights and everything, and there's no reason why we can't do it, you know.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the third subject you were talking about today here that I was going to comment on something else that you guys brought up.
About the bar?
No, not the bar. This is about downtown.
The streetscape?
Well, no, the idea that all the improvement, okay, that the mayor wants to do,
Yeah.
all that money you're going to do, the great make it improve it and all that. I got to thinking, all that improving is great to make the city look good, but the people who are benefiting from it are those, of course, who work at your insurance or the hospitals or the school, or the schools down here. But when you come down to it, they're not the taxpayers paying for it.
No, and it like, the other day they pointed out about, I mean, it's great that downtown does, brings in visitors and all that, but I keep saying until we strengthen the neighborhoods, we're nowhere.
Yep.
Until I see people building next to me on the empty lots, until I see more single families, less college students and renters, nothing's changed. We haven't brought taxpayers in. We haven't renovated the neighborhoods.
I don't know if the mayor would consider doing, remember for a couple of years it was, we put like eerie emblems or so off of the light poles on State Street and some of the side streets, you remember? They used to, wherever the light pole, they put a bracket, and then off the bracket was a blue banner with something about Erie on it.
Yeah.
For those things, they kind of helped decorate things up a little bit, made it stand out. That might be something, but the problem was that they didn't create those banners properly. They tore with high winds, so they need to get a banner that won't tear that way. They got to have some kind of a ripple, like a rips up down through them to let the wind through, so they don't tear them apart.
Maybe they need.
Awning made some of those banners.
Maybe they need mounted shields on the poles.
Yeah.
Permanent ones with telling the history or something like that.
And there's some good ideas that can be done, but they got to be thought through. But I would tell the mayor not to even look at trees that are going to create more problems downtown for snow, plowing the sidewalks and all those. Remember the the concrete benches that they put in down there. Remember those?
Yeah.
And those were a problem for anybody trying to plow the sidewalk, clear snow. So some of the things you got to take into consideration. We got to have ways of keeping those sidewalks cleaned off too. And a tree not properly placed present an issue as far as that goes. And then also, where you plant those trees, be careful what might be underneath where you're planting them darn things. It might be there's a lot of buried cables and water lines going up the city in that way too, the streets. Anyway, there's a few things I thought maybe you might need a little help clarifying.
And like you say, they need to work it with the ADA too, so that people, all these obstructions and everything are.
I have a hard time going under the underpass because one of my doctors was over at that Central Mall area, remember?
Yeah.
But if you catch the bus to go back from there, I had to walk all the way down from there to the 14th Street by the post office.
What makes it tough? The light or?
Well, no, it's just walking through that underpass. It's not very pleasant. I mean, you get a little bit concerned when the concrete's broken up. Got a lot of rubbish down there, and you might find somebody laying on the doggone sidewalk there sleeping, in the summertime. So, and then of course in the wintertime you got the snow plowed up on top of there.
Yeah.
It's not the most convenient way to get through, and naturally when you're up above, you can't go down and walk on the street. That's where I end up walking most of the time, on the street where it's plowed and a little safer to walk because you don't want to slip on the ice. So yeah, there's a lot of thought that has to go into how that can be done. So, but anyway, hey, hope you get well, and hope John gets well too. There's going to be missing there.
Yeah,
did you ever hear from DJ any?
No, I get a little worried when I seen all the snow out there.
Oh,
They've been having some avalanches and everything out there.
Oh, I know. I was wondering about that too.
I'm sure he's safe, but you never,
Yeah, he's. I don't know. I talked to him real briefly about a month ago, but so because I had that one item that belongs to him, I wanted to make sure what to do with it. But so anyway, he hopefully he's doing okay too.
We have to get DJ to call in sometime and give us a little update.
And I won't go into the idea of marijuana stuff like that, but
that'll be discussed. That'll be a topic for next few years.
Well, and that's like I try to tell John, I pray for a lot of people that got onto that drug and are trying to get off of it, or they have had problems because they've been on it,
But you know what though, the drug that they give them, I saw a guy's ID card the other day, to be able to buy it.
Right.
It's not the one that gets you high, okay?
Oh, I know, it's a medical one.
Yeah, they're taking the extract. And like I argued with a lady once that called me, I said, in your average drugstore, they're selling stuff that's every bit worse than marijuana. We sell opioids and oxycontins and all kinds of drugs for painkillers, legally prescribed.
You remember when we were at the parking authority, we'd have a problem with most of the time with the kids.
Yeah.
In the elevators.
Right.
Or in the stairwells. And as soon as you got up there, the odor of it and the smoke of it in there.
But you know what, Doc? Today, I bet you law enforcement would like to go back to the days of marijuana compared to what they got to deal with today.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you there. There's a lot, because I don't know what anything opium isn't so much one that you could identify by smell, but you can see it, the effects of it.
I mean, we had it in the Army. I mean, they, what were they going to do?
Yeah. Well, my brother, he got into chewing tobacco because that was a smoke-free, smokeless tobacco. But now he can't get the kick to habit, and I'm trying to tell people.
No, that's the problem. Once it gets you,
cancer of the mouth and that. I have a few friends that have lost part of their tongue and jaw because of that. So yeah, we got to watch some of that stuff, and if you can stay off it, then you'll be healthier.
Someday when we're together, ask me about my friend from L.A.
Well, I like to get with you sometime, Chad, but you know me, I'm stuck here. I can't go anywhere.
It's an interesting story. You'll like it, okay?
Well,
it gives you a different perspective of...
You know where I live, right?
Yeah.
Stop over. Let me know you're coming over, and we'll have a cup of coffee. You go out maybe for a donut or something.
Well, I may be having more time downtown in the future, so we'll get together that way.
All right. Well, and if you're going to run for treasurer, you know where I stand with you on that.
Well, you can't say anything on the air now, okay?
Okay. Well, I know. So
But,
that's why I say just get in touch with me.
Sure.
Hopefully John will be back on next week with you and all that.
I'm not sure we're going to be on next week. I have a personal issue I got to take care of, but I'm going to try to get somebody to do the show, okay?
Okay.
But I won't be here, I know that.
Yeah, I'd like to come down and do it, but I wouldn't have the answers like you do.
Well, you know what? I should have brought you down today. Just having somebody next to you and talking about something always stimulates a conversation.
Well, the cute little Irish joke I can give you is good for the air. Do you know why the Irish wear shamrocks?
No, why?
Because all other rocks are too heavy.
All other what?
All other rocks are too heavy.
There you go.
Have a good one.
See ya. And, well, the last 10 minutes, you still got time to call in, and we got a lot of subjects to look at. We got underpasses, the bar. Go ahead, caller.
Kaz, I think Persinger's in California.
Ah, not the mayor, right?
Not the mayor. And and I think I did see the mayor was at the parade, so
Yeah, I think you're right. You know,
Yeah.
the thing about looking at other towns, I always like to keep it relevant to those towns that are like in your class, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to go out to San Diego and see what they did. And,
Yeah.
But-
I mean, you know, Cincinnati. I mean, we went to Cincinnati. Well, hell, there's millions of people that live there.
right, but you know, you look at the towns that are your size. You know, there are towns that I was surprised. There, you know, towns like Duluth, Roanoke.
Yeah.
You know, our size or pretty close. Peoria. You know, you look at them. You can take what they got, and they're like mini versions of the Navy Pier in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen that, the Navy Pier, and we've seen Gaslamp Quarter in San Diego, maybe, or
Yeah.
the wharf in San Francisco. Those are all nice. Those are nice endeavors, but you know, see what towns smaller have done
Yeah.
that got success stories. You know.
If I hang up, Kaz, it's because I'm getting a coughing jag.
Yeah, see, I got it too. That's why. I'm better when I relax. I should have brought my cough drops, but
Yeah. Hey, but one thing. I saw on the agenda that you're going to be talking about supporting the community college.
the community what?
The community college.
Well, somebody put it up there. I haven't had a lot of questions.
Yeah, you know, Kaz, and hey, you know, they get all the gaming money. They're flush with cash. I hear them say they got 30 million.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't have to support them financially for a community college, but when you got the Senate, the head of the Harrisburg Senate, telling you that he's got a better idea and he's pushing for something else, I mean, I think it's time for Dahlkamper and that lawyer to maybe take a different approach and use that money for some brick and mortar that they have for the community college, and maybe after you do some brick and mortar, there might be more support for a community college because you'd have more people, more different jobs. You know, when I hear I'm going to get an associate degree from a community college in welding,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, come on. You know, that's nonsense. That's not a college degree. That's a skill. It's an art, and it's just not. You don't have to teach that. You don't have to have a building to teach that. You need a workshop or a manufacturing facility that produces welders and has a training program, because you get good at it by doing it. And
I'd like to know what they're up to. I mean, what courses are they going to teach there? You know.
Yeah, you know, Kaz, and I'm, you know, I hear everywhere south of Interstate 80 has community colleges, and then I hear Grove. There's a community college, Butler or Grove City or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they got a community college, but I bet they don't have Gannon, Mercyhurst, Penn State, Edinburgh, a LECOM.
Here's what I'd like to see from the community college.
Yeah, and I'm just we're strapped for money, and honestly, I just think
Gannon and Mercyhurst and Barron, they can offer associate degrees.
they could. Yeah.
You know, for those that don't want a full degree in accounting, you know.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, the community college concept, like it exists in the South,
Yeah.
is that the manufacturers, maybe they don't call it a degree, they call it a certificate or something.
Yeah.
But the companies will tell the community college, you know, what they're looking at, what they need.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like you brought up about welders, you know, we need welders capable of doing ships, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, you know, if those things are taught and given a proficiency certificate, you know,
Yeah.
because not everybody needs to have a college degree or.
Yeah. No. And that's the thing. I mean, and that's exactly right, Kaz. Not everybody, you know, college isn't for everybody. But I think we have such great institutions here that manufactures a quality product, and and to all of a sudden start from ground zero and want to build a new college. I hope that Scarnetti or whatever his name is sticks to his guns and tells them to, he's not going to fund a community college. And then maybe they'll do something more creative with that money. Let's start, like you said, we need to fix up the neighborhoods. And they got bushel baskets full of money evidently at the county to spend on things like a community college, but I just don't like it. And then I was disappointed to see that on the agenda because, all right, let's talk about it and let's support.
I'd like to know what the support is. What are we agreeing to?
I hope it's not financial. I think it's just really moral support.
I don't think we can. Well, right now, I don't think the city is in the position with all the tough decisions we got that we can commit money like that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Our tax base is eroded and left.
Yeah, Cass. And what's taken the place of the people that are leaving is a lot of immigrants are coming here, and from what I've heard people say, we've got about 20,000.
Well, what disappoints me is that in every ethnic wave we've had in the past, we've benefited. Yeah. Even though people were mad at the Italians and they were mad at the Polish.
Yeah.
But what we need is, if we need to find a way to help them start businesses, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
When you look at Majestic's Bakery and you say, somebody coming over here has no baking skills. If we can get them a way to, start some businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what if you remember, that's what happened in the old ethnic communities.
Oh yeah.
And look what we got today. They're still around. Some of them are going out of business.
Yeah.
But every generation has the tailors, the shoemakers, the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The restaurant people.
I just keep waiting to hear something from that fifth floor. With some teeth behind it, that they're gonna, we're gonna tackle this and we're gonna do this, and then you can watch it manifest itself and grow or fail, whatever the case may be.
I still think we're trying too many things. I catamount it to firing a shotgun or firing a rifle.
Yeah.
You got to pick a target.
Yeah.
And start digging your feet in and solving one problem slowly and.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get into this thing overnight, and we're not coming out of it overnight.
No. Like someone told me, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
There you go. Or how do you chop a big redwood?
Yeah.
One stroke at a time, right?
Yeah. So, all this talk and the fanfare on Thursdays at the announcement of what the city's doing for the week, we need some serious stuff to come out of fifth floor. And
well, sometimes it's it's like the old days of the Roman circus. Keep the people happy.
Yeah, and the one thing,
they don't see the bad,
Yeah, the one thing I listened to him talk about diversity and inclusion, but the first thing he should try to do is unify or unity, and then a lot of problems go away, but. Just to have, every time he starts to talk, the guy in the fifth floor, it's inclusion and diversity. And God bless him, but you need to unify. And if you unify, and he's not doing it because those people suppers, when you have the blacks, the new Americans, and then, what's the other one, LGBT, mm-hmm. and Mexicans, you're segregating. I mean, we fought hard to desegregate, and now he's putting the people in groups, and I don't get that because each group has its own problems, specific problems to that group, where we need to have a unified approach to fixing everything. So maybe everyone doesn't get exactly what they want, but everyone can be a little bit happy, and Christ, he's alienating the white people that live and pay taxes. You know, I mean, what the heck? So it's crazy to me, but we'll see what happens. You know, and
all I know is we got a lot of, you know, it's not bad to admit that you're in a hole.
Yeah.
And you know, we know we got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah.
And we need to all pull together in a rowboat, you know.
And that's what I mean when I say unification. You know, everybody's got to have an oar in the water, or hell, you're not going to go anywhere. So.
What they teach you in the Army, you and I, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
The weakest link.
Yeah, that's right, Cass. But hey, I hope you're feeling better. And it's almost 3 o'clock. I'll let you get out of there.
Yeah, Mike just gave me the high sign, so we're going to sign off right after we get done here.
Okay. All right, but have a good week, and I'll talk to you.
See you around.
Bye-bye.
And with that, we're going to head off the air, and hopefully I won't see you next week. Maybe I can have somebody take over the show. We'll see. Meantime, thank you for calling.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.